Hello my friends, Virus here, and this is a video I wasn't sure if I was gonna make. Not only is this vastly different from any other video I've ever made, but typically I don't like to indulge in internet drama in my content. I'll absolutely indulge myself in it in my own time, but this is a first on my channel. And the only reason I'm really talking about this is because there are a lot of VTubers and other creators involved in this, some of which I regularly watch on YouTube and Twitch. I will say right now this video will contain some 18+ themes, and some viewers might find some of these topics and themes disturbing or inappropriate. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get right into it. So there's this VTuber that goes by Sinder online, and she has been under fire for a lot of allegations and a lot of heinous stuff. Multiple VTubers such as Bao, Silverveil, Spite, Shylily, and other creators have come forth with their own experiences involving Sinder via Google Docs and other kinds of posts on X, formerly Twitter, as well as some stream clips and YouTube videos. I would also like to point out that Sinder is a co-owner of GamerSupps, and a lot of the creators involved in this are also affiliated with GamerSupps, so that's pretty wild. But anyway, once these allegations and experiences came to light, Sinder responded with this post. Effective immediately, Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator, my brand, or my intentions. I'm sorry, everyone. I'll make a larger response when I'm able. And I don't blame her for waiting, because not only was this 4 in the morning, but it is a very yucky situation. I'd also like to point out that in Relevant People, it's just Sinder. When I'm on a Sinder post, I just found that funny. Now, there were a lot of documents with some pretty damning evidence against Sinder. Luckily, I didn't have to do much of the reading because Tectone on Twitter made a very nice summary of each document. So thank you, Tectone, for summarizing this. And it goes something like this. After 2 hours, 4 documents, 2 posts, and a lot of reading, here are the major takeaways on the Sinder situation and each document posted. What we can conclude, this is just talking about everything. Here is Nano's document, or Nanoless. Redacted is Sinder's mouthpiece, whatever that means. Confirmed Sinder knew everything Redacted said, or I've seen other people calling him Red as well. Red/Sinder were attempting to monopolize an editor/artist against their desires, guilt-tripped and manipulated them into doing their work and no one else's. What Sinder's doing isn't necessarily bad to do to one's competition, however, doing it to their friends is a whole different story. And it ends with Red gaslighting Nanoless using revisionist history. Now there is something from the Nanoless document that I do want to cover just because this specific screenshot irked me, and it is Nanoless talking with Red. What about we can pay blank amount for you and you don't have to discount it from the next payment, and we'll continue giving you lots of model work. I think for this year right now. But, and this is a very big but, you don't work with, I think it's Bao, Shylily, and Cotton at all again. Models or art. I don't think you've ever done anything with, I'm assuming Bao or Cotton before. I can't tell because it's blurred out. We also have another GS label for you too, the AFK, which I'm assuming means GamerSupps logo, and I believe this is talking about the GamerSupps logo that is on her new, tub of AFK. Not trying to advertise it at all, I'm just assuming that's what this means. And Nano responds with, is there any way to add a little bit more since, I'm assuming Bao here, still asks for art every now and then? And then Red responds with, we could do it like when blank asks for art, you tell her no, and then tell us to buy another piece of art. So you still get a job from it. And this specifically irked me just because he's pressuring her to only work on, art for Sinder. And it's very clear here that Nano doesn't want to be exclusive and she still wants to work on stuff with, I'm assuming Bao, Cotton, or Shylily. I don't know because these are all blurred out. Though I believe this one right here is Bao because I believe in Bao's document, she doesn't blur this. So there's that. Red was also slandering Bao in this screenshot right here. I'll just leave it on here, pause it if you'd like. But I'm going to move on from this document. Now we're going to Rain's document. I don't exactly know who Rain is. I'm assuming another, VTuber in the space, is accusing Sinder of sexting another man while in a relationship, Sinder trauma dumping to another person about how bad her relationship is to someone she is interested in, and I believe the person in question here that she's interested in is Rain. NTR. Kids, if you don't know what that means, don't look it up, and if you're just as old as me and you don't know what that means, just look it up. Rain and Sinder are very scummy in this document, I don't doubt that. Rain claims this wasn't meant to be a witch hunt, but it was very clearly done with the proper timing to have this document gain the traction they wanted, and so it did. Is that wrong? Up to you. And now we're getting into Vamp's post, which I believe is Vamp Peaches, I believe. Vamp exposes Red as being Sinder's boyfriend, which means the person she was cheating on was Red this whole time, and she's dating her own manager, which, again, they go into, it's not a big deal. A lot of people hide the fact they have significant others. I completely get that. I personally like to keep my personal life private. Tons of streamers do this. not really a big deal for wanting to keep your private life private, just like I said. However, if Sinder throws away her boyfriend to try to alleviate some negative PR, that is going to be a big yikes from me, dog. And that is pretty scummy. If she's willing to throw away Red just to like push off some bad PR and like some negativity getting thrown her way, if she's willing to throw Red under the bus here, that's a little bit scummy, especially since Red seems to be her partner in crime. And now we get to Bao's document. Dispels claims that Sinder and Red were calling Bao a editor and MV maker thief, confirms how hurt she is by having her friend attempt to be overly competitive and ruin her image and her models and impacting her career negatively. Says that Sinder could make it to the top, but when she gets there, she will be alone. Bao dispels claims that she locked up Saker, I believe it's Saker, her editor. Bao completely absolves herself from any wrongdoing, which is great. She did nothing wrong. I believe it's just Sinder like trying to pressure Nano into not working with Bao, just so that she can get ahead. And that's gonna really suck for Bao. I know that she had a lot of mental health problems and like a lot of like health issues going on around this time. So to just have this piled on with a bunch of crap that she's already going through, like that's gotta suck. I feel terrible for Bao in this situation. And because I feel like Bao was one of the most impacted in this whole situation, I did want to find a way to support her. And I found the best way was just to place an order at GamerSupps for her flavor, Bao Berry, because it's in stock right now. So I placed that earlier today. And I don't know what it's going to get here, but that is my way of supporting Bao. I even use code Bao at checkout. And if you want to support her and what she does, I think this is probably the best way. Even just leaving a comment on her videos goes a long way, you know? Maybe it gets buried in a bunch of other comments, but you know what? At least it's there. At least your comment is there, and maybe she'll see it. Who knows? But that's how I supported her, and I just wanted to just splice that in. Now we get to Spite's document. Spite insinuates that Sinder is and was copying her, not the other way around. So here is Spite's model, brand new model that she debuted. Months later, this is July of 2022. Months later, in September, Sinder shows off a nearly identical outfit. And she even looks very similar to Spite. Like, the resemblance is uncanny. And if you want more proof, here's another one where she has like this like kind of like toga theme going on, I think, and then Sinder just outright kind of copies it. And she also has like this thing, I'm guessing it's like a pyro pup. That's what her whole fan base is called, I believe. Like, those are her viewers. She calls them pyro pups. So I'm guessing this is a pyro pup. And it looks very similar to how Lily's holding orcas in her model. So interesting comparison there. And here's another one. Here's a little like hoodie slash onesie thing that she debuted a while ago. And of course, not that long later, Sinder comes along with a pretty similar design. It's, of course, looks to be another onesie, very similar to Spite. Of course, with her own branding on it with like the pyro pup theming, but still very similar. So that's what is mentioned right here, and also right here. So I guess we're done with Spite's document. Let's move on to Sacramore TV's document, supporting some of Bao's claims to be true. That's great. I'm very glad that at least some of Bao's claims are proven true. Major takeaways. To be honest, things look absolutely horrible for Sinder, yet I will still be waiting for her response just to do my due diligence. And she has responded. She has made an apology. I do plan to make a separate video on that. So subscribe so you don't miss that if you're interested. It has been alleged with a lot of damning screenshots as well as other corroborating the narrative that is being pushed. Sinder is currently being alleged as overly competitive with her friends in the VTubing space, willing to undermine and backstab her friends to get ahead, gaslight and manipulate editors slash workers to get her way. That was the situation with Nano, and the backstabbing was of course Bao and Shylily, I'm sure a lot of other people. I believe Buff Pup as well, cheating on significant other, aka Red, a model slash rigger thief, the Spite situation. People speculate that she's going to throw away her current boyfriend, Red, aka Redacted, to alleviate some negative PR coming her way. And that would be very scummy. But for now, I believe that is about it. I will wait and see Sinder's response and keep y'all updated on any news or changes in perspective once we have seen everyone's side. All in all, this is very messy, and to be honest, I feel horrible for Cottontail, Bao, Shylily, Spite, and every other VTuber affected in this scenario. To be honest, I don't really know what Sinder could possibly present to absolve her, yet I will still do my due diligence. I am 31 years old, and I just researched VTuber drama for 2 hours in front of 9,000 people on Twitch. I swear to God, I have not one but 2 jobs. But my God, this reeked of unemployment. Thanks for reading. Thank you for summarizing it. And I did want to go over to Nano's comment section just to show like how much support she's getting from this and how many people are coming to her side to like support her in this situation. We got Fifi even commenting, "Love you, Nano. Sorry I had to deal with this." Shylily right up here. "Will always be here to support you no matter what." Really, really sweet. Cottontail right after that. It took a lot of courage to speak up about this, Nano. I hope you're doing okay. thank you for doing the right thing, sending you so much love. Very, very sweet. Like, even Buff Pups here, part of Vtuber. I think I only follow Rose Doodle, I think. But anyway, I'm honestly just baffled by all this. I'm so sorry that this was even an energy that you had to perceive in your lifetime. Realizing the mistreatment you received is such a huge step of courage, and I'm so proud of you. We got a lot of big names, like Tricky Wee. Tricky Wee's a very big VTuber. Lena, right after that, Lena Lazar. And just a bunch of people are here showing their support for Nano. Oh, there she is, Rose Doodle, right there. That's really sweet. And really just seeing all of this support go Nano's way, it just really makes me love the VTubing community even more. Just to see how supportive and sweet they are to Nano, it is so, so sweet. And there are just as many showing support for Spite as well. Like, even Cha-Cha's here. That's really cool. Oh, hey, debut May 11th. That's cool. I might tune into that. But it's just so cool to see how many VTubers and just creators and just people on the internet in general are just rushing to the people affected and saying, hey, we're here for you. You know, like, that is such a cool thing. And I love the VTubing community for that. And I guess even beyond the VTubing community, with like that extends out to fans and such, it's just so cool to see so many people come together to support someone in need. And I think that is so cool. And of course, as I'm talking about this, GamerSupps starts trending on Twitter. I just find that funny. But yeah, I'm not sure how Sinder will recover from this. I don't know what's going to happen, even with the GamerSupps side of this. I don't know if that's going to affect her ownership/partnership with that. I don't even know if it's going to affect the other creators that are affiliated with GamerSupps that are involved. But I'm sure they have like terms in place so that like people don't get their product taken down just due to bias and prejudice. Like, I'm really hoping that like because of this drama they don't just drop Bao's flavor, Silverveil's flavor. I just hope that they don't, like, this doesn't start a war on GamerSupps side as well. But all in all, this is a very yucky situation, and I almost didn't cover this, but because it involved some of the creators that I've like actively followed, and it also kind of involved GamerSupps in a way, I felt the need to talk about it because I felt strongly for it. I feel for the people that were affected by this. So to my knowledge, it's Sinder cheated on her boyfriend. She's overly competitive with her friends and willing to throw them under the bus to get ahead of them. And I didn't even talk about the it's just business thing. To my knowledge, Sinder just sees these collabs as business, and like she kind of just uses these connections to gain more popularity. And again, if I'm wrong about any of this, feel free to correct me in the comments, but please don't be rude about it. I am trying to piece this together the best I can. It is a pretty heavy situation. And I guess furthermore, please don't go harassing anyone, even Sinder. I don't condone harassment of any kind. This isn't me rallying the troops to go attack Sinder. So please don't go harass anyone. Don't go harass Bao, Shylily, Silverveil, even some of the people that are kind of indirectly involved in this, like Chibi, I guess, is kind of involved in this, and Filian. Which, I guess Filian's kind of involved in this because she put a video out like 2 days before this all went down. And it had Sinder in it, so that's kind of funny. Very, very close to being unusable. But I will talk about Sinder's apology in another video and maybe some responses if people want to see it. But for now, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new and hit that bell so you never miss any virus content. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Virus out.